The children of Israel were slaves in Egypt, toiling under the oppressive rule of the pharaohs. Their lives were filled with hardship, their spirits ground down by relentless labor. The Egyptians saw them as mere tools to be used and discarded. Hope seemed like a distant memory. The Israelites cried out to their God, yearning for deliverance. Little did they know, their cries were heard. A deliverer was being prepared, a man named Moses. He would lead them out of the darkness and into the light. But first they would have to face their greatest fear. They would have to confront the might of Egypt. The children of Israel were slaves in Egypt, toiling under the pharaohs. Their lives were filled with hardship, their spirits ground down. The Egyptians saw them as tools. Hope seemed distant. The Israelites cried out to God. Their cries were heard. A deliverer was prepared, Moses. He would lead them to light. But first their greatest fear, confronting Egypt's might. Word reached the Israelites of a new leader, Moses, a Hebrew raised in the Pharaoh's court. He carried with him the word of God, a message of hope and liberation. God had seen their suffering and would free them from their bondage. This message spread like wildfire through the downtrodden masses. Hope flickered back to life.
God has heard your cries. He will deliver you from your bondage.
Moses, with his brother Aaron, went before Pharaoh.
Let my people go.
Who is this God that I should obey him and let Israel go?
Pharaoh refused, but God unleashed a series of plagues upon Egypt. Finally, the angel of death passed through the land, slaying the firstborn of every Egyptian household. Pharaoh relented, allowing the Israelites to leave. With hearts full of hope, the Israelites departed from Egypt.
We are free at last. Trust in the Lord.
Moses guided them, a symbol of God's power. Ahead lay the unknown. The Israelites were trapped between the Egyptian army and the Red Sea.
Were there not enough graves in Egypt?
Moses remained calm.
Do not be afraid. Stand firm.
God commanded Moses to raise his staff. A strong east wind began to blow. The waters parted, revealing dry ground. The Israelites began their crossing. As dawn approached, the Israelites reached the opposite shore.
The Egyptian army reached the edge of the sea.
Blinded by rage, they charged forward. Pharaoh failed to see the trap.
Forward, do not let them escape.
The chariots entered the dry seabed. The ground began to tremble. The walls of water began to stir. With a roar, the waters collapsed. The sea became a watery grave. Pharaoh realized his folly, but it was too late. The Israelites watched from the eastern shore.
Look at the power of our God. He delivered us.
Moses stood as a beacon of strength. He witnessed God's power firsthand. The Red Sea settled back into rhythm. The sun painted the sky with gold and crimson. The drowned Egyptian army was a sobering reminder. They escaped Pharaoh, but their journey continued. The promised land lay ahead. Their faith would be tried again and again. As the first rays of sunlight pierced through the lingering mist, a profound silence descended upon the scene. The Israelites stood on the shores of the Red Sea, forever changed. The sounds of Egyptian whips were replaced by gentle waves. The weight of their chains lifted, replaced by light steps.
We crossed the Red Sea on dry land, a path carved by God.
Mothers clutched their children, faces etched with relief. Men stood tall, eyes fixed on the horizon. The elderly raised their arms in praise. They had lived to see this day, the chains of slavery broken. They were the Israelites, and this was their exodus. A wave of jubilation swept through the Israelites.
Spontaneous singing erupted.
Miriam led the women in a song of victory.
The rhythmic beat echoed across the shoreline.
Their voices soared with strength.
They sang of God's mighty hand.
They sang of his faithfulness.
They sang of their ancestors.
Their song rose above the desolate landscape.
It was a song of freedom and faith.
The euphoria of their escape began to give way to the daunting reality that lay ahead. The wilderness stretched before them, vast, unforgiving and unknown. The promised land, a distant dream, shimmered like an oasis in a sea of sand.
Their journey was far from over. In many ways, it had just begun. The memory of the Red Sea parting reminded them of God's presence. They carried lessons from slavery and believed God would guide them.
The pillar of cloud by day and fire by night led their way.
The wilderness, though challenging, promised transformation. Here, former slaves would be molded into a nation.
The wilderness awaited, and they would face it with courage and faith. The parting of the Red Sea was more than just an escape. It was a thunderous declaration of faith, a testament to the unwavering belief of a people who dared to trust in a God they could not see. For generations, they had lived as slaves, their spirits crushed under oppression, yet deep within their hearts a flicker of faith remained, and deliver he did in a manner so awe-inspiring, so miraculous. The Red Sea became a symbol of God's power and their unwavering faith. The waters parted before their eyes, a testament to the fact that nothing is impossible for God. This act of divine intervention was a pivotal moment in the lives of the Israelites. It set their feet firmly on the path to freedom. No longer were they a people defined by slavery, they were now a people defined by faith. The Red Sea crossing was a resounding affirmation that faith is not a passive hope. It is a force that can move mountains, part waters, and transform lives. It is the unwavering belief that even in the face of insurmountable odds, God is present. The Israelites' journey from slavery to freedom was not for the faint of heart. They faced insurmountable challenges, from the pursuing Egyptian army to the harsh wilderness. Yet they persevered, their spirits unbroken, strengthened by the knowledge that God was with them. Their story is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, the ability to endure hardship and emerge stronger. They faced hunger, thirst, and exhaustion as they traversed the unforgiving terrain. They had witnessed God's power at the Red Sea and felt His presence guiding their steps. Their story serves as a beacon of hope for all who face seemingly insurmountable challenges. The story of the Israelites' exodus from Egypt and their miraculous crossing of the Red Sea became a defining narrative, a cornerstone of faith and a source of inspiration for generations to come. It serves as a beacon of hope for oppressed people everywhere, a testament to the power of faith. For the Jewish people, the Exodus became the defining moment in their history. It became a central theme in their religious observances, a reminder of God's faithfulness. The Passover Seder, commemorating the Exodus, is still celebrated annually by Jewish families. It connects generations to their past and inspires them in the present. The story of the Exodus also found a place in the Christian tradition. The parting of the Red Sea is interpreted as a symbolic baptism. The Israelites' journey through the wilderness is seen as a metaphor for the Christian life. The story of the Exodus resonates with people of all faiths and backgrounds. It speaks to the universal longing for freedom, the desire to break free from oppression. It reminds us that God hears the cries of the oppressed and sides with the vulnerable. The Red Sea crossing continues to inspire hope and remind us that with God all things are possible. The sands of time have shifted for millennia, yet the impact of the Exodus remains potent and resonant. It stands as a testament to faith, the triumph of the human spirit, and the enduring presence of God. The story of the Israelites' escape and journey through the wilderness echoes through history. For generations, the Exodus has inspired those facing challenges. It reminds us that faith can overcome obstacles.